Hello. So in this video, I'm going to read you the rhetorical advice of James VI of Scotland from Basilikon Doron. Now, I'll give you a little bit of background on this. Basilikon Doron was a book that James wrote while he was still James VI of Scotland before becoming James VI of England. James I of England. Basilikon Doron was an advice manual for his son Henry. It was basically a how-to guide for how to be a good early modern ruler. And one of the things that James talks about is rhetoric, how to be a good speaker, how to be a good writer. And so I'm going to just read you what James says about rhetoric. The next thing that you have to take heed of is your speaking and language, whereunto I join your gesture, since action is one of the chiefest qualities that is required in an orator. For as the tongue speaketh to the ears, so doth the gesture speak to the eyes of the auditor. In both your speaking and your gesture use a natural and plain form, not fared with artifice. For, as the Frenchmen say, rien contrefacit fin, which means nothing counterfeit is estimable, but eschew all affectionate forms in both. In your language be plain, honest, natural, comely, clean, short, and sententious. I think I pronounced that wrong, I'm sorry. Eschewing both the extremities, as well in not using any rustic corrupt lead as book language and pen and inkhorn terms, and least of all mignard and effeminate terms. But let the greatest part of your eloquence consist in a natural, clear, and sensible form of the delivery of your mind, builded ever upon certain and good grounds, tempering it with gravity, quickness, or merriness, according to the subject and occasion of the time, not taunting in theology, nor alleging and profaning the scripture in drinking purposes as over many do. Sorry, this is written basically in early modern English, and so it's like O-U-E-R rather than O-V-E-R. Sometimes that's tripping me up. He goes on. Use also the like form in your gesture, neither looking sillily like a stupid pedant, nor unsettledly with an uncouth morgue like a new come-over cavalier, but let your behavior be natural, grave, and according to the fashion of the country. Be not oversparing in your courtesies, for that will be imputed to incivility and arrogancy, nor yet over-prodigal in joking or nodding at every step, for that form of being popular becometh better aspiring Absaloms than lawful kings. Framing ever your gesture according to your present actions, look gravely and with a majesty when ye sit in judgment, or give audience to ambassadors. Homely when ye are in private with your own servants, merrily when ye are at pastime or merry discourse, and let your countenance smell of courage and magnanimity when ye are in at the wars. And remember, I say over again, to be plain and sensible in your language, for beside that it is the tongue's office to be the messenger of the mind. It may be thought a point of imbecility of spirit in a king to speak obscurely, much more untruly, as if he stood in awe of any in uttering his thoughts. Remember also to put a difference betwixt your form of language in reasoning and your pronouncing of sentences, or declarator of your will in judgment, or any other ways at the points of your office. For in the former case you must reason pleasantly and patiently, not like a king, but like a private man and a scholar. Otherwise your impatience of contradiction will be interpreted to be a lack of reason on your part. Where in the points of your office you should rightly advise indeed, before you give forth your sentence, but from it be given forth the suffering of any contradiction diminisheth the majesty of your authority, and maketh the processes endless. The like form would also be observed by all your inferior judges and magistrates. Now, as to your writing, which is nothing else but a form of unregistered speech, use a plain, short, but stately style, both in your proclamations and missives, especially to foreign princes. And if your engine spur you to write any works, either in verse or in prose, I cannot but allow you to practice it. But take no longsome works in hand for distracting you from your calling. Flatter not yourself in your labors, but before they be set forth, let them first be privily censored by some of the best skilled men in that craft, that in these works you meddle with. And because your rights will remain as true pictures of your mind to all posterities, let them be free from all uncomeliness and unhonesty, as according to Horace, his counsel, nonumque premature in annum, which means, let them be kept back until the 9th year. I mean both your verse and your prose, letting first that fury and heat wherewith they were written cool at leisure, and then as an uncouth judge and censor revising them over again before they be published, quia nesquit vox missa reverte, or reverte, I'm not sure if that's supposed to be a V, which means because a word which has been sent out cannot return. If you would write worthily, choose subjects worthy of you, that be not full of vanity, but of virtue, eschewing obscurity, and delighting ever to be plain and sensible. So that's James VI's rhetorical advice.